Hello everyone, Nerdy Librarian here once again, and, well, you might notice I'm kind of high up right now. Also on a ship that's not in the water. What is going on here? Well, I was in need of a map of sorts. I had to create one, because I'm a fan of D&D and that sort of thing, and I play that with a few people, but this time around I decided that I was going to write a one session item. So this is what I created for the map, and I took screenshots of it. But here, why don't I take you on a tour here? We've got the deck of the ship here, 3 mainsails and masts. In the back here, we have the captain's quarters with some nice little stained glass here, a table where a map would be, or you can discuss with your first mate, a chest just there for aesthetics, some bookshelves, a little toilet over there, and in here we've got the nice bedroom of the captain. Look, I mean, it's a classy place. It's very nice, very, very nice. Why don't we head down this way? If I can. A lot of this part here is for aesthetics purposes. It's not necessarily functional, but here we come to the crew dining area slash kind of the crew common room, whatever. If we go into here, we have a kitchen area that leads into then a dining room here for guests. Now, I say guests. Why would there need to be guests on a sailing ship like this? Well, because this one is meant more for transporting individuals of mid to higher class who don't necessarily have access to Magicka and that sort of thing. So they use this as a means of transportation to get to another continent. And here we have a little observation deck before being able to go up on deck here, which we had been. And for obvious reasons, this area is quartered off from the rest of the crew because, I mean, if you have higher class passengers, you're going to want them to not necessarily be where the crew is at, if that makes sense. And then it keeps going. There is another level to this ship. Why don't we head down this way from the kitchen? This leads to this small area here that leads into one of the storage areas. And here you see we've got some chests, some barrels, etc., etc. And then on the other side here, going through here, we have the crew quarters. Now I believe it can fit 16 crew members, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, math checks out on that. 16 crew members. Coming through here, we have a brig along with a storage room for, say, armor, armaments, etc. Just kind of for crew members and guards, etc. And then this here is a secondary storage chamber with a ceiling that's a little bit higher. And then going up this way, it leads back into this crew common quarters area and that sort of thing. So that's kind of this ship in a nutshell. And then let's take a look at the outside here. This is where I had to get a little bit creative. So some magical stones that allow for this vessel to fly. There's this center one that feeds into these. Now, obviously, I couldn't necessarily build that to connect down to these side hovering stones, but can give it the illusion of that at least, or at least on that placement. And then I just did this with stained glass. I've done this sort of thing before. So prior to this, and this was in a realm that I've been part of, not the build world, I was building an Imperial Star Destroyer using stone half slabs, and then I utilized honeycomb stained glass And I kind of did a design much like this to simulate kind of fire going out of that, but since we don't need fire here, we just need the magical stone, I did going from like a magenta up to a purple that turns to blue, and then a cyan and a light blue. So like when you're farther away from it, it gives the illusion that, you know, the stone is coming to a point, that it has an elevation change, which I also did that with the glass here on both sides as well. But, you know, just to make it kind of look like most of the magical essence is at its center. And that's what I wanted to do with that. And then kind of a similar thing here, just with it being smaller, I just utilized the center styling, so the light blue, the cyan, and the dark blue for that. And then over here we have, because this is an aerial flying vessel, not only do we have the 3 sails on top to catch the wind, but we also have these 2 side pieces here, the little side sails that, I mean, on this they can't be moved because, well, it's Minecraft and there are certain limitations, but imagine if this were a real flying vessel. These could be moved, say, back and forth if you need to turn, or up and down if you need to make an evasive maneuver or that sort of thing. But yeah, I have to say this thing took me maybe, probably grand total of about 8 to 10 hours to build. And part of that was, so I had to build this layer by layer, because obviously starting with the bottom layer here and trying to make it a map that's suitable for a battlefield in game, you know, you can't necessarily break it down level by level unless you take screenshots as you go along. So I did that, starting with the bottom layer, you know, not putting all the walls up over door, or all the door frames and that sort of thing. So that bottom storage area that was down here along with the crew quarters, started with that, and then worked up to the next level, which was the one with the guest cabins and the dining room, the kitchen, etc. And then moving up from there, had the deck of the ship without the masts or sails. And then moving up from there, the lower part of the sails. So the lower part of the masts here. Because, I mean, you never know what crazy things people are going to do, right? They might just climb up onto the mast and be like, hey, I want to be, say, 15, 20 feet in the air, and I want to fight it from here. Okay, let's see if we can get that on the map there. And then, of course, did the same thing for the top part here, because, well, once again, people can be crazy with that. So, we'll end this tour over by the wheel here. I designed this in a way that the captain is able to see through and see past here, which I'm also noticing something here, and I'm glad I caught this mid-recording. I'm fairly certain that, I don't necessarily remember what I was attempting to do, but it'll probably come back to me, I'm sure of it. But maybe it was in the course of trying to take a picture of it and that sort of thing for the screenshot that I didn't necessarily factor in the sails correctly. But it should be good to go now. So yeah, ending this one by the wheel, designed it in a way where you can see past the sails, kind of see what's in front of you, like the captain of a ship ought to be able to do. And yeah, so actually, before we stop this one, this ship also has a couple of ballistae, which I mean, I did the best I could to create the form of a ballista on either side, but in terms of actually having one that's operational, I mean, you can do that, but I wanted it to be the aesthetic of the birch wood against the spruce wood, so it kind of looks like, you know, an actual giant crossbow that you can fit bolts into. And then made sure that it looks like they have enough room to be able to swivel around and that sort of thing, because, well, once again, you never know what's going to happen mid-combat. Somebody might go, hey, you know, we're going to lure these enemies over here, and then I want to be able to utilize this, so I want to swing it around. It's like, okay. So thinking in terms of that, I had to get a little bit creative with that. But yeah, that is a flying ship in Minecraft. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment on what you'd like to see me build next, what you'd like to see me showcase, or what dumb thing you want me to do. I say dumb thing because I do dumb things all the time, and those make for the funniest content sometimes. So please, offer those suggestions. Hit that notification bell. Tell your friends about this channel. Put on social media that, hey, I found this YouTube channel. I think you guys might enjoy this. And then, yeah, with that, I'm the Nerdy Librarian saying thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one.